Hello. In today's video, we're going to continue with the series of looking at the database adapter and grabbing data from yet another more complex procedure. I have a package created right here, and in that package I have defined the type GOrdersTable, which is a table of the orders row type. Then I have a rec of customer, which will contain the customer name and the order table here that you see. And this is the reference here. So we're basically creating an object that has a table in it of all the orders. Okay. And again, we have two functions. This function here, we'll go to it. This is to run it in SQL+, which I'll quickly show you. The get orders is just a bulk collect where the customer equals a value. And then the customer, first of all, it sees if the customer is there. Then it checks if there's orders. And then it gets the data. And then it gets the orders and loads it into the table. And then finally, it returns everything. So we'll see how SOA handles this. First of all, let's look and see how it works in SQL+. So I'm going to go up and grab my code. By the way, we'll see this later, but the sum for all of the orders is 43399. Okay, so the customer ID is 2. That belongs to Stephen King, and these are all of his orders. Orders 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, the order ID, and the date ordered. So let's take a look at the composite. Here is the function, and I'm just going out and running this function here. It's very simple to set up. Here I have the assignment, then I invoke the function. Here I'm simply creating a sum of all the orders from the table into a variable that I set. And here I am transforming the value from the input data or the output of the database function to the output of the BEPL process. And you can see that I've got the customer ID linking to the customer information. Down here I have a for each one of these records. And you'll notice that these are exactly the same. For the BEPL process, I basically used the same XSD and the same output variable for the BEPL output variable, and why not? Just for this example, it works fine. All I really want to do is see that I can get the data and see that I can properly transform it to another variable. And this one has quite a few nodes, so if we had done this in an assign, it would have been quite a lot of work to set up, not to mention having to create a for each. Although we would have the ability to assign more information. Now you can create, right here for example, let's say that I wanted to do a total. I can add a variable here, but it really doesn't update the variable in the, what we want is the output variable for the BEPL process to have the total. So if we wanted to do that, we'd have to create a new XSD file, which I don't necessarily need to do. So I'm happy with it. It works fine for now, for this demonstration really. All right, so let's go out and take a look at here. We're working with customer number 2. Works in 1 second and 87 milliseconds. And here we have the details. We're not really doing anything with this, we're just running it. You can see that the assignment that equaled the same value here, and the transform basically transformed this data into the payload or the callback client here. So everything looks good. It's exactly what we wanted. So in today's video, to summarize, we worked with a complex cursor where we have set up in our package the table of the G customers rec, which is this, which has the customer ID, customer name, and then table of datas. This is very similar to how Java objects are formed, where you'd have an array as part of maybe another object. And so you can see that you can do it in PL SQL to a certain extent too. And then we also worked with the transform of moving over the data and using the for each to make sure that we showed every node in every order, which we saw down here. So this is one, this is another, this is a third. Okay, that's how to use the complex procedure and a transform.